Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are exploring a topic that really shifts gears from our usual content.
Right.
May is National Bike Month, and specifically, we're looking at the whole bike to work movement. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. National Bike Month is one of those things you might see on a poster at your local coffee shop or office building.
Yeah,
But its history is actually a fascinating mirror of how society has changed over the last 70 years.
it really is. When you think of Bike to Work Day now, you probably picture tech workers on expensive commuter bikes.
Oh, definitely.
You might think of people trying to lower their carbon footprint, or cities building massive protected bike lanes. But Jamie, that is not at all how this started, right?
Not even close. National Bike Month was established way back in 1956.
Wow.
But the sponsor wasn't some environmental group.
No?
It was the Bicycle Institute of America, which was basically the promotional and lobbying arm of American bicycle manufacturers.
So it was essentially an industry marketing campaign?
Pretty much. And the target audience wasn't adults commuting to the office.
Right.
It was almost exclusively children. In the 1950s, the bicycle was viewed purely as a child's toy.
Hmm.
So the original Bike Month events were entirely focused on kids' safety.
To translate that for today, imagine if we had a National Skateboard to Work Month today.
Ha, yeah.
People would look at you funny. That's how adults viewed bikes in the 50s. So, how did we get from a kids' safety campaign to adults commuting in suits?
It happened in phases. In the 1960s, a famous cardiologist named Dr. Paul Dudley White got involved as a spokesperson.
Okay.
He started pointing out that Americans were getting too sedentary. He shifted the conversation to adult cardiovascular health.
And then came the 1970s. The oil crisis hit. Gas prices went through the roof, and the environmental movement was being born.
Right.
The messaging for Bike Month hard pivoted from kids play safely to adults save fuel and save the planet.
Exactly. And that brings us to the numbers.
Yeah,
Did this actually work? Have people actually started biking to their jobs?
they have, though it's been a slow climb in the US. Between 2000 and the 2010s, the number of American bike commuters actually doubled.
Wow.
By 2019, the US Census Bureau estimated around 800,000 Americans were primarily biking to work.
But then we hit the 2020s, and the data does something absolutely wild.
Oh, yeah.
The pandemic created a massive paradox in the cycling world.
Oh, the COVID bike boom. If you tried to buy a bicycle in 2020 or 2021, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Completely empty.
The shops were just totally out of stock.
Right. The Department of Transportation noted a staggering 620% increase in national spending on bicycles and accessories between March 2020 and March 2023.
Insane.
But here is the paradox. While everyone was buying bikes, the census data showed that the number of people biking to work plummeted by 15%.
Because everyone was working from their living rooms.
Exactly.
It's such a funny statistical quirk. We had more people biking than ever before in modern history, but commuting numbers crashed because the commute itself disappeared.
Thankfully, the 2022 and 2023 data shows those commuting numbers are finally bouncing back to pre-pandemic levels.
Good.
But Alex, if we zoom out from the US, the global picture is on another level entirely.
It really is.
A global index by EcoCounter looked at data from millions of bike trips and found that cycling traffic worldwide grew 5% just between 2024 and 2025. Overall, global cycling is up over 20% compared to 2019. And we can't talk about biking to work without mentioning the gold standard, Europe.
Oh, of course.
In the US, bulk commuting accounts for less than 1% of all trips. But in Denmark, it's 23%. And in the Netherlands, it's 36%.
The Netherlands statistic always blows my mind.
I know.
They have a population of about 17 million people, but they own 22.5 million bicycles. Wow. They literally have more bikes than human beings.
And that's because they don't just treat bikes as a hobby.
Right.
They treat them as critical infrastructure. They invest heavily in protected cycle paths that are totally separate from cars.
Yeah.
Countries like Ireland and Belgium are now copying this, investing hundreds of millions into national cycle networks.
It really highlights that people are willing to bike to work if they feel safe doing it.
Absolutely.
The evolution of National Bike Month is just incredible.
It really is a movement that has found its wheels.
Huh, nice.
So, to wrap up today's episode, here's a question we'd like you to think about. What specific change in your city's infrastructure or your workplace would it take for you to swap your car keys for a bike helmet tomorrow morning?
Fortune's many